All right, it wasn't pretty. Virginia 62, Florida State 57 was the final score. And yes, Florida State falls to 1-9 with the loss, and Virginia, number 3 in the country, improves to 7-0. Hi, I'm Chris Graham. And not pretty, but then this Florida State team, yeah, they've won one game, and I'm going to boost them here a little bit. But they played two top five teams this week. Virginia, number 3, Purdue, number 5, and losing at home to Purdue by 10, losing on the road to Virginia by 5. This Florida State team's going to win some games this year. This is the kind of game that good teams, when they're not playing well on a particular day, lose. And it reminded me of a game. You sit in a arena as often as I have, and I'm very lucky to be able to say that I get to sit in an arena, and it's part of my job to watch basketball games and remember them. But it reminded me of the 2019 game, and you might remember, if you're a Virginia fan, 2019 was a magical year. There's a banner hanging up in JPJ. In February of that year, that really good team that was just a couple of months away from winning a national title beat a very bad Notre Dame team 60-54. And this one reminded me of that one. That game, Virginia was up 10 with 3 minutes to go. Couldn't put Notre Dame away. Notre Dame got back within a couple of points a couple of different times before Virginia was able to close it out at the foul line. And Notre Dame would go on that year to finish 14-19. Virginia would finish 35-3. Now, I'm not saying Virginia's going to finish 35-3 and win a national championship this year, but I would just say cool your jets if you're worried about a game on December 3rd and how it might impact the long-term potential success of a basketball team. These are the kind of games, again, that a lot of teams that are good teams that can go on to play for championships lose for whatever reason. And so Virginia in this one had a 10-point lead. Now, I mentioned the Notre Dame game from 3 years ago. The 10-point lead was with 3:07 to go, I think it was, when I looked up the play-by-play for that one today after thinking, hey, these are the two that remind me of each other. Virginia actually led by 10 with 1:25 to go in this one, and it got down to 3. A missed dunk by Reese Beekman. I mean, as Virginia's trying to run clock, and they got a dunk. It was a contested dunk. Beekman got up in the air. He was playing with a tender ankle. You might remember he sprained his ankle on Tuesday in the win at Michigan. And but he still got up. I mean, me with a tender ankle, and I'm probably still laying in bed right now. And he got up and missed the dunk, and Florida State went down, actually missed a layup, got the rebound, and made a 3. Virginia turned the ball over in the backcourt, really sloppy turnover by Kihei Clark, and Florida State converted that opportunity and then kind of just extended the game from there. And this, after a ugly first half by Virginia, actually trailed 22-21 at the break. Virginia shot just 6 of 26 from the floor, had come into the game leading the ACC in field goal percentage at 50%, even 50% on the year through the first 6 games, and 3 of those against the likes of Baylor, Illinois, and Michigan. That one on the road, so it's not like it was feasting upon a bunch of cream puffs to get to that shooting clip. This Florida State team gave Virginia some trouble, and Virginia also, an issue was just not making shots. A very different looking offense today with Florida State's length. Leonard Hamilton loves to have big guys, long, rangy guys to clog up things defensively. Virginia was able to do some things to get open shots by, really largely abandoning the traditional mover blocker offense. There were still some screens being set on one side of the floor, but often what you saw going on was a high screen and roll, and then let's just see if we can get to the rim and kind of keep the middle unclogged. That, or a little bit of feeding post passes to Jaden Gardner, who had finished with 10 points on the game, kind of modest, but 5 of 9 from the field. And Ben Vanderplas, who in the second half at least, 3 of 6 from the field. He was 0 of 5 in the first half. But Virginia was able to get some easy buckets in the post there. But other than that, it was a slog, and in part because in the first half, Virginia couldn't make a shot. Started in the second half 8 of 12 from the field, and that actually helped open up a 12-point lead. But then after that 8 of 12 start, Virginia finished the second half, the last 11 minutes or so, 4 of 13 from the field, and just missing not necessarily open shots, but shots they should make in lots of situations in this one. And but defense wins the day. When I looked at the numbers, Florida State, of course, with 57 points, shot 32.8% from the field. And here's the number that really stood out to me in this game. Florida State was 10 of 25 on layups and dunks. It's interesting that you get these stats. 10 of 25 on layups and dunks. And Virginia recorded 10 block shots on the day, 4 by Caden Shedrick. So this is what, when you're a Virginia fan, you may know this. If you're a longtime Virginia fan and you've bought in not to just Tony's success, but how he's successful, the reason Tony Bennett teams are successful is, the good shooting comes and goes. The teams, even the Kyle Guy, Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter teams had off nights. As I mentioned, the Notre Dame game that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. But if you play defense is effort and will, and defense travels, as they say. And so in this one, the offense had an off night. Virginia shooting, let me get that number up here. Virginia shooting 35.3% on the night and just 5 of 19 from 3. But when you can hold the other team to 0.864 points per possession, you force, 13 turnovers in the game. You block 10 shots. That's how you win games when you're not shooting well. And when I look at this one, among the Virginia players, only one guy shot over 50% from the field. That's a interesting number. And it was Jaden Gardner's modest 5 for 9. Kihei Clark, 18 points, 4 of 9 shooting from the field. One made 3 out of 3 attempts, 9 of 10 at the line. That was a big day for him. Jaden Gardner, 10.7 rebounds. Reese Beekman, aforementioned, 7 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. And he was playing hurt. And, there's one more game before the exam break, JMU on Tuesday night, and then a chance to get some rest and recovery time for Beekman. But you could tell when it's interesting how an athlete can be. He was running around and he was doing a lot of the things. But when, walking to the foul line or coming, either leaving the floor to go to the bench or coming off the bench, he was very tender on that right ankle. So you could tell that he had to be affected by that. Only 1 of 7 from the field today. 0 of 3 from 3, 5 of 6 from the line, and uncharacteristically took some threes that is just sort of settling for them. And that's not a Beekman thing. He's a guy that he can make threes. He came into the game shooting 57.1% from 3, a high number, a little bit of low volume there. He was 8 of 14 coming in, but he can make the shots, but more in the flow of the offense type things. He was sort of just, a little bit today, just kind of taking threes to see if he can make them, basically, because his foot was hurting, and that's a big thing. Only 9 assists on 18 made baskets today. Virginia it was a tough defensive slog for Florida State. They shot 32.8%. I mentioned the 10 of 25 at the rim. That's a really hard number. Darren Green, 17.6 of 13 shooting. And Matt Cleveland, you might remember Matt Cleveland, and you might have tried to forget Matt Cleveland. He's the guy who made that basically 40-foot 3 at the buzzer that all but eliminated UVA from NCAA tournament contention last February in JPJ. He finished today with 11 points on 5 of 11, shooting 10 rebounds. Good day for Cleveland, the sophomore. So some takeaways from this. Armand Franklin had a quiet night too. He had 9 points at the 18-17 mark of the second half. Didn't get another shot from the field. He made his only shot in the second half, shot attempt in the second half. It was a made 3, and quiet night. Caden Shedrick had the great plus minus of the night, a plus 17 in 24 minutes. Modest counting numbers, 3.6 rebounds to 4 blocks. That's not modest. That's a pretty good number there. But Shedrick, only 24 minutes. He had foul trouble again. He always has foul trouble, it seems, this year and in recent years. But also he once again got this time. Let's see, he got elbowed in the throat. That led to a flagrant foul on a Florida State player. He also took a good karate chop to the sternum, and the guy needs to be wearing football pads and a helmet out there. The way things are going for him. Some interesting notes. 2 first years, Isaac McNeely and Ryan Dunn. McNeely was already sort of entrenched in the rotation. He's been the first guard off the bench largely for this team already through first 7 games of the season. 19 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds. Ryan Dunn didn't play in the first game that went over NC Central back first Monday of November, but he came in the second game. I believe that was the Monmouth game, and he's been getting consistent minutes since. 15 minutes today. I was getting ready to say tonight, 2:00 start. 15 minutes today. and 4 points, all at the foul line, 5 rebounds, and it's pretty clear that young man is a rotation player now. And the loser in that is Francisco Cafaro, the big 7-footer, the 5th-year senior who started 16 games last year, only got 4 minutes off the bench. He had 2 rebounds, no shot attempts from the field, nothing else to show. Ben Vanderplas, when Shedrick was off the floor, either foul trouble or injuries, he was out for about 8 minutes. Shedrick was, after getting that elbow to the neck. Vanderplas, as he did Tuesday night, stepped in and got minutes at the 5, playing this small 5, and held his own. 27 minutes, 3 of 11 shooting. Again, he was 0 of 5 in the first half, 3 of 6 second half, 4 rebounds. And so, and what he does position defense wise, he's a great guy, moving the ball around, and his ability to hit threes, even if he's not making them on a particular day. He stretches the defense out because he's a very adept shooter from long range, and can score in the post well too. Actually ran a couple of nice plays for him to get him in the post, and he was able to steal his guy off and get little baby hook turnaround type shots. So Vanderplas emerging as we expected, but also McNeely and Dunn looking pretty good as well. And so, to sum this one up, Virginia only got about 9 minutes or so of good offense. That was the first 9 minutes of the second half. The first half was a complete wash. The last 11 minutes, complete wash. 9 minutes of good offense, 40 minutes of good defense. And, you're going to want to see a more consistent effort offensively, certainly from Virginia. But again, the defense doesn't go into slumps. And because defense is effort, will, and technique, and scheme. and so Virginia beat the 1-8 team, now 1-9 Florida State. It won't be the prettiest one that you'll ever see. In fact, our colleague Scott German framed his extended lead, about masterpieces, and how this one was more like, you wouldn't hang this one at a museum. It's more like something that might win a ribbon at the county fair. But a win's a win, and Virginia fans will take it. So go to AugustaFreePress.com. You can read my recap, Scott German's takes. This is Saturday night as I'm recording this. I'll probably save. In fact, I will save, because it's late on Saturday night. I'll save the more in-depth things with comments from Coach Tony Bennett, and also then from Kihei Clark and Ryan Dunn. Those will be during the day tomorrow and going into Monday as well. Getting you ready for JMU on Tuesday. And then that's the last game before the exam break. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, whatever you might have, email me at chris@AugustaFreePress.com.